So, this is our level start. The player kind of gets greeted by being trapped in this room that they have to escape out of. You'll just escape over here, keep on moving through this checkpoint, and interact with our first zombie. And as you notice, you have to keep on reloading, so you have a limited amount of ammo. However, you can open ammo lockers and get ammo. So we'll just use the shotgun to get rid of some of these enemies right here. And you have to collect these orbs to open up these doors. There's even another ammo locker. Collect 3 orbs to open this game. Okay. And then use the lightning. Does large amounts of damage for a larger crowd of enemies. And I'm gonna die real quick to show the responses. So, because this is the last checkpoint I got, I respawn beside the caves. And I go collect the rest of the orbs. This is our fireball. It can burn through certain materials. I already picked up the orb. I'm going to showcase it out. As it slows down the speed he takes. And then we're progressing through the rest of our levels. This is the orb level, which actually centers around the orb collection and teaching the player how to navigate through the rest of the map. Collect all these orbs, and then finish progressing the level. So, this is a little bit of our psych ward. I'm gonna grab a sword for that door over there. Message inbound. Explosion in upper sector. Level 3 security breach. All personnel must evacuate. Interesting. So for this level, the main objective is to destroy the constructs. And once you destroy the constructs, then you'll So as they're ice constructs, they actually melt and shrink down. So just running around, regain our stamina. I'm sorry, I'm on. That's the second to last one, and then we need to grab the last construct. Ah, there's Zord. Line of something. Ah, hold on. And so, this is created by our creative director, Najee Nottingham, also our lead designer. Lead gameplay was Sam, animations was Brandon, technical designer was Sam as well, and then level designer and UI was me, of course, Caleb Mudura. And this was Project Vanguard Hearts and our game, The Corrupted Protocol. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Hello. My name is Caleb Mudura, and I'm part of TeamBVH Vanguard Hearts. Today I'll just kind of be going through some of my Jira to showcase some of the stuff that I did during the final sprint. So I'll start off with some auditory and visual feedback that we kind of did a little bit later on. So start by opening it up. So for this sprint, I have worked on making a sound when the player dies or gets respawned at a checkpoint. So it's basically like a slash sound kind of trying to get some inspiration from like Kill Bill and different like a different genre like that, kind of just out there, but also like a very a sound that has a good connotation behind it. That I'm like, okay, that kind of means that your life will get cut off basically. So I'll just play that for you real quick. So I'll just level select and then go to this level. So when I die, makes a slash sound. That was one of the sounds I had found. I'll also going to add to the project. Then also this sound right here. I'm going under a checkpoint. I have a sound specific for each checkpoint, and I have level specific checkpoints as well: of fire, lightning, ice, and basic. Which this is the basic. I can even show some of the sound for the other checkpoints. So I'll get to that later on. So I'll just open that up in the background. Some of the other issues I had dealt with at the time was a lot of level design. I had created the integration for the keys to the graveyard. So the key is actually in Officer Purge's house. You have to get access to Officer Purge's house, and then you're able to get the key to the graveyard, go back outside the village, and then go to the graveyard. I had created a lot more communication leading the player to the village entrance, changed out the ore pillar sound, so it's very loud 2D sound, and I had made it a sound of the location based off of attenuation. And then the doors in the village buildings. I had added doors on each of the buildings so you can see. And I'll just navigate back to that. So I'll run through all of that pretty quick. So some of the communication that I was talking about was these rocks. It's rocks leading up to the start of the entry, and then there's different trees that are pointing towards this big golden door. Even these trees leaning over with some more rocks, more trees leaning towards it. This left one, huge beam leading towards it. Even if you walk up here, next to this yellow construction equipment, there's a sword leading you out towards. And so you actually hear some of that shifting. That shifting is actually the ore pillars. So you see, based off that sound attenuation. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, I guess I can. Based off that sound attenuation, they basically. So some of the other things that I had worked on, like I said, was getting to the graveyard. So the graveyard was. The graveyard basically has this key right here. That's the key to the graveyard. You come, pick it up. Ooh, I guess that's not okay. Kind of helped a little bit. Pick up the key. Come back outside the graveyard. I'm sorry, can't come back outside the village. And then you get entrance to the graveyard. And so this is still a work in progress, waiting for some assets to come in. But this is the 5-pillar graveyard, and this is basically where you interact with the NPC over here, and that's what we're going to have in our next part. So you get the communication, and then the graveyard. Another part of it was the difficulty scaling. I spent the last few hours, pretty much all today, doing a lot of difficulty scaling, making our enemies a little bit more harder, making our guns more responsive. They deal higher damage, and then a few other things that was going on. So I'll just return to the menu real quick. I had fixed some Z fighting that was in the large building, more detailing in the Purge residence, knocking out the back wall of the smaller building, masking the Purge residence, jewelry box in the Purge residence, and the roofs to the large building, and then a universal building railing. And the final integration, that's another thing. So I'll talk about some of the Purge residence stuff, and then I'll get into the final integration of the other buildings. As the example. So I'll just grab this. Oh my god. Okay. We'll come back up here, and then we'll actually gain access to the Purge residence. So we'll come back up here and actually gain access to the Purge residence. Climbing up here, getting inside of this balcony. This balcony is closed off just for the viewing of the arena only. So I'll just try to climb from the chair so you can see. You can actually see from up here what's going on down there. But this is the Purge residence. It has Officer Purge right here, who basically acts as the totalitarian leader of this village, and all of the company people around who swap. So just in that building over there. This is some of the detailing I added. Knife right here, shotgun shells, and grenade launcher bullets, as well as a shotgun, and the mask that Officer Purge wears when he likes to watch people purge in the arena that he created. He also has access to the graveyard because he sent most of the people there, as well as Officer Porter, which is something else that I had worked on. Also, in order. It's kind of a weapon that's actually scared me a little bit now. And I'm afraid. But he's an aficionado. Basically collecting a bunch of weapons, hit that weapon outside was originally his actually. And then I'll move on to the sub enemies, which is the juveniles. This is some of the stuff I had updated recently with the menu screens. I can show some of the logic for that. And then some of that stuff was already done a little bit more previous one. And full gameplay, so that was that. I'll show lastly the mini screen, and then I can show one more example of maybe enemy. I'll actually climb up here for a faster interaction. And that's the baby enemy right there. Much faster, also attacks faster, but does less damage. And then the universal building railing is actually this. This is originally barbed wire. This wasn't rotating, and now this was rotating. So it kind of gives it that effect for that glare. This is really a show being put on right here. And so that's a little. So we made our way down here to the arena of the village. So as you see, there's some buildings surrounding us. You actually see the roofing right there. And we're gonna fight the enemy. Some of the menu screen logic right here that I have for you. Let me just pull it up. This is some of the logic that I had worked on for the menu screens, as well as the pause. So the pause has a opacity when you actually pull it up, and then it also has its own option screen that runs and then goes back to the pause screen the same way that the menu screen has its own pause screen. So I'll start right here. And first about options, let's make it window on a lower resolution. Hit back. Go to low select. Let's play Blue Lagoon. Excuse me. So a little bit lower resolution. And of course the window screen. And then I'll press pause again. Go to the options menu. It's also window, still 2. Set it to 4. And then let's set it to fully window actually. And then resume. And you can clearly see that the resolution got much better. Much better. I believe that's the final stretch of my issues. I had done, of course, a little bit more work, as you can see on Perfirst, but this is most of the issues that I had dealt with for the month of this sprint. Thank you for watching. This is Caleb Dwarf from Black Vanguard Hearts.
Hello, this is Sam from Black Vanguard Hearts, and I'm going to be showing what I've been working on for this sprint. This time I'm showing it on the editor as opposed to the build, because a lot of it is code, so I'm going to be showing what's been happening. Anyways, let's go to my level and check it out there. So first thing I want to show is some minor bug fixes that have been happening with the undead gas guy. Let's put him down on the level. Essentially, he used to shoot, and these balls used to collide with like other undeads and cause damage to them. That no longer happens. This also have been changed to look a little bit different. They used to be puddles in the ground, like green puddles, but now they're instead like a sphere of gas. Hopefully we're gonna get like textures for it later, but right now we just made it translucent. It helps the player see when he's inside with like a more, without having to look for some of the things, like having to look at the floor to be like, oh, I'm inside the edges. Yeah, so we've made that. Most of the logic remains the same though. Yeah, so let's get him removed. Another thing I've been working on is this little guy on the ground. As of right now, he's just a cube, but basically he's supposed to be a new trap kind of thing. Basically, if you come close enough to it, it will come out and it will deal damage. And then if you move away, it retreats slowly into the ground. and then it'll be ready again for dealing damage when it comes out. And you can just like enter it when it's going down, and it will also damage you every time. It's supposed to be some sort of like earthworm that comes down and damages you, but I just left it as a cube until we got like some textures from the artist. But yeah, that's another thing that I've been working on. And this is the last one. It's what's been taking like most of my time recently. This is supposed to be a new enemy type that we're gonna be adding to the game. It's one of the ones that was in the original design. He's supposed to be a sniper enemy. Right now he looks exactly like the others. We're gonna change that later, but I'm trying to get the code to work. Basically, as you can see, he will shoot me and he will be dealing damage. The bullets are much faster with him. But as you can see, he's not moving. Now, why is that? It's basically the behavior tree that we had. We were using some functions that were like like kind of old and are not reliable for doing some of the things. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If we come to the blueprint or the behavior tree of the undead, this is what we used to have. This is the original enemy. Every enemy is a child of this enemy. So if you come to the attack the player, this one's a melee enemy, so he will only attack you if you're like within melee range, and it used to work with the sphere trace. Now, this is not an optimal way to do this. Basically, in this behavior tree, you should just have like attack, and then the logic for the attacking in melee should be in the actual enemy. But since this is what we have, I basically had to remake um, the whole logic for the ranged enemy. Uh, right now, I only have it working with the sniper. This is how it is. Um, as you can see, I have it plugged with the sniper. Eventually, this is gonna replace the logic um, for the spitter as well. But yeah, this is what I've been putting some of the work into. Um, right now, it doesn't move as expected some of the times. It's mostly like it's static, as you can see. That's because I've been working on a new AI, um, like a new interface for them because it wasn't working as like we're using on perception update as when the original enemy is using a depreciated perception version that only interacts with the player when the player is um, it's seen, and then you can't like, oh, if it exits it does this. This one basically only works when the player is actively being seen. So yeah, right now these are like the replacements for the react to player. So a lot of the logic in this guy has already been moved to the proper. As you can see, the blueprint is mostly empty. Most of it has been moved to the proper locations in the behavior tree, and this is going to be a new replacement for everything that's ranged because I think they want to make a new ranged enemy later on that's kind of like both ranged and melee. So we're going to have to, um, just like this is going to show that this is going to facilitate the creation of more ranged enemies later on. Uh, but yeah, that's what I've been working on for this sprint. I've also this is kind of small, but I've disabled. We used to have in the ice sphere. Um, it used to have a little, yeah, like a debug tool that tells you when you hit something. I disabled that for the final build, as well as the fireball. It also used to have it also used to have a little this thing right here. It's a little tool that will display the range of the fireball, so that we could test things with it. So yeah, let me show you how it is now. Basically, you shoot the fireball, and there's no longer the huge purple circle that would tell you, oh, this is the range, because this is supposed to be like the final build of the month. We also got the ice spear. It no longer tells you what component was hit with it. Yep. So now moving on to my Jira tasks. Over here we can see I filtered my name. Let me go through what I've done. Um, this is this is one of the bugs that was reported. Basically, I made it so that we still don't have the integration where the firewall will be able to level up, but I made some variable changes so that we can access that much quicker when we actually decide to make it upgradable. So it's much easier for the person that has this assigned. Let's see. Oh, we have also made the collectibles work a little bit different now. What this does is it has a tracker, and you can see like, oh, I collected this orb. It was a small issue that we had. Basically, we collected the keys each month. This has been broken since the beginning of this month, but we would collect the keys and they would not be tracking, but they would still be used for opening doors and such. So I made it so that only the keys will be tracked, and there's a normal collectible that is just it doesn't get affected by the keys, so that we can put things such as the ammo drop there. This is for the gas zombie. As you can see, most of the tasks in the gas zombie have been completed, except for this one. This one is make the zombie shoot when the enemy moves too close to it, or like don't shoot, but just like move away from him. The reason why this one is still uncompleted, this is actually what caused me to start working on the different behavior tree. So I left that one in progress, and if you come over to I believe it's this one, the sniper. Let's see. This is the parasite test, and yeah, the behavior tree. Okay, so this is the task I was talking about. Basically, this is where I've been reworking most of the enemies' behavior tree for the ranged enemies. So as you can see, this one's the one that reacts when the player is within a certain distance. It still hasn't been fixed. It's almost done, thankfully, but I need to make the enemy move as well. So I'm gonna have to fix that, and then I'll be integrating into the gas enemy again. Uh, but if we go back, this one is the one I basically linked it to those two. So when this is fixed, I will move it into the gas zombie, and it'll be marked for completed, which is almost done, thankfully. This is the parasite enemy that comes out of the ground and attacks you. As we can see, this one's been done. Let's move it to done. And then we have, this is the sniper enemy that I've been working on, which is the whole reason why I'm making this behavior tree work different. And this was a task that was assigned to me, but eventually we looked over what we had to do, and I was told like, yeah, just wait for another feature that we have to implement, and then you can start working on the stamina. But yeah, as of right now, most of my tasks have been completed. I've given priority to what I've been told, which is why I haven't put much into the Steam engine or the fuse box, since I've been told to basically fix what's wrong with the gas enemy. But yep, that's what I've been doing for the month or this sprint.
Hello, my name is Brandon from Team Black Vanguard Hearts, and I'm here to display this week's current sprint progress. So I have the latest build, which I downloaded from Power Force, which I'm going to open here. So a lot of the changes that I made in this week's version of the sprint was mainly quality of life changes to the player character, such as a functional ammo system, the constructs, working for the level progress and opening the door, as well as responding to the fireball attack. In addition to the constructs, I also implemented the ammo pickups for the current character that will update in real time the player's ammo count, as well as the ammo count for the respawning on the player if the player dies. I fixed the UI on the player's ammo, so then now they have an actual ammo to keep track of while they're playing. So it's not just an endless supply of ammunition. They actually have to keep track of their abilities and their ammo count. In addition to the ammo counter, I also took time to add a functional locker, which we did have a locker already that existed in the world, but I've added additional coding to it to make it work within the player's world. So here inside the orbital, I know there's two lockers here. I'm going to demonstrate what they do. And as you can see in the bottom right corner of the screen, the shotgun ammo count. So right now it is at 0. If you try to shoot when the count is at 0, it will reset and deduct from the final ammo or the total ammo count in the corner. But if the player decides to reload, so if I use my gun and I try to reload it with the R button, it will also do the same thing. Take from the total ammo, subtract it from the current clip, and then add those two together. So it won't overflow the clip. It won't take in improper amount of ammunition. It actually calculates how much ammo was in the clip before you press reload and keeps track of that and takes it from the total ammo count. So as you can see right here, there is two lockers. If the player walks up to the locker will open and ammo will spawn from the locker, which works out because the locker will only open if the player touches it. So if any other object tries to touch the locker, the ammo won't spawn. Okay, so for the rest of the changes that I've made in this sprint, I will show the future characters changes that were made. Okay, so one of the issues we had in the previous iteration of this character was the ability to do damage to enemies, but this one can currently do damage to the enemies. There is an issue with the older tank's hit system, which is fine. It's just something we have to fix. But as far as the other enemies, this thing was fully functional. And if you notice in the corner, it also has a working ammo counter. I just have to change the variables, the class names in the UI of the current player build, which is still set to the old characters' variables and ammo counts. which is fine because that's just literally a copy paste or just a couple node changes and references. But otherwise, this functioning is just the same as the other player's ammo counter. In addition to the ammo counter and the reload system, animation, and sound effects that I added to this character, I also fixed the abilities. So now the player can actually aim their abilities in any direction, same as the reticle. Before that was an issue, where the player's ability would only fire in a general direction forward and never change vertically. But yeah, now the abilities all work based on the player's current aiming, same as the gun. So I could throw a fireball at the ceiling, I could jump, throw a fireball at the ground. It's all fully functional. And just to show the changes I made to the old character, which is here, I added the ammo logic for the bullets and the clip counts in here, as well as the locker, which is here. It displays where the ammo spawn, here, here, and here, and the ammo pickup, which is this blueprint here. That takes the current ammo total count and adds the 2 clips extra into the player's inventory. All right, well, that's all I have to share for this sprint. I'm going to turn over to one of my teammates. Thank you for watching.
Hello, my name is Najee Nottingham, and I'll be going over my Jira task that I have worked on for the last sprint. So here is the build folder on Perforce, our team name, the build file here. I've already downloaded the file and have it here. Open this up. So before I get into that, let me talk about some Jira tasks that I have worked on. First one is the level transaction trigger system. Now, in Unreal Engine 5, you will implement a trigger volume that transitions the player from one level to the next when they enter a specific area. The system allows seamless level changes when the player crosses into a designated zone, which could be useful for loading new environments, cutscenes, or gameplay sequence. Use the story as a player. I want to move seamlessly between different levels or environments when I enter a specific area, so that I can progress through the game without any interruptions or noticeable loading times. Next one, completion criteria. Creating the trigger volume. Create a trigger volume that detects the player enters a specific area. Set up the trigger to activate only when the player character overlaps with it. Transition to new level. Implement the logic to load the next level when the player enters the trigger volume. Ensure smooth transaction between levels without loading screens if possible. Linking the trigger volume to specific levels. Assign specific levels to load upon activation of the trigger. Ensures that each trigger volume transitions to the correct corresponding level. Visual audio feedback. Add visual or audio feedback like sound effects or fade to activate to indicate the level transition. Ensure that the player is aware that they are moving to a new area. Testing and debugging. Test the system to debug that the player has transitioned from one level to the next without bugs. Debug issues such as incorrect level loading, freezing or errors, and player detection. Save progress. This one's optional, but I did not do this one. And this took me 3 days, 4 hours, and 34 minutes. As you see here, the create trigger value that detects the same thing that I read, 2 hours. Next one is the set up the trigger to activate only the player character overlaps with it. That's 3 hours and 50 minutes. Implement the logic to load to the next level, 2 hours every 5 minutes. Assign specific levels to load upon activation. This one was 2 hours and 59 minutes. Then add visuals or audio feedback. And this was 3 hours. And this one, the last one, test the system, 4 hours it took me. So by going to here, right, I'm gonna start off by going to, let's say, the contract cabins, because I want to show how how the level transition happens. And the only way to show that is by playing at different teammates level. Collect the orb, come down here, and then we will transition. You see here to my level. So that's how the level transition trigger works. Next one is adjust walking speed and increase attack points for zombie Captain Tank. This one took me 4 hours to do. Description: the zombie Captain Tank enemy needs to have its walking speed reduced slightly to make its movement slower, making it feel more like a heavy, powerful enemy. Additionally, the attack points for the zombie Captain Tank should be increased to enhance its threat level in combat. Then these 3 completion criteria: locate the movement speed variable and reduce it slightly by 10 to 20% to achieve a slower, more deliberate walking pace 1 hour every 15 minutes. Next one is adjust the damage value for the zombie Captain Tank's attacks to make them more powerful, depending on the balance of requirements, and increased 1 hour 15 minutes. Next one is test the updated zombie Captain Tank speed and attack power during gameplay to ensure that the adjustments feel appropriate. This is 2 hours. So let me show you that in action. Resume. Here's the young tank. AC's attack increased. Movement speed, it was working before. See that? Now they're attacking me. Does more damage than the base ones. It shows that the tank is doing a lot more damage. And slightly moving a bit slower. Next one is character cannot pick up health when health is already full. This one took me 1 hour. Add an addition to check if the player the player's health is full before allowing them to pick up a health pack. Provide visual or audio feedback, flashing health bar or sound effect to inform the player that they cannot pick up the health pack when their health is at maximum. This was a bug that I have done. So in the game here, here's a health pack, and it cannot be picked up when the player's health is full. Now I did not add any visual audio for when the player cannot pick up the health. No audio feedback for it, just to show that the player cannot. Now I got injured, so now I picked it up. But again, just to show that the player cannot pick up the health when the player's at health is full, as you see before. So we know that that's working properly. Credit scene animation not playing. Screen fails to scroll up and show list of names. This will be 1 hour to do. Description: ensure that the scrolling animation is correctly set up and triggered when the credit scene starts. Add a timeline animation event that scrolls the screen upwards, showing the entire list of credits. Test the duration of the credits to ensure that all names are visible before the credit scene ends. So, by going back into here, let's go to the main menu. Here is the credit scene playing, showing animation, screen went up, the names went up, and the back button appearing. They go back. So that shows that that's working properly. Next one is implementing mana usage and recovery for fire, ice, and lightning abilities, as you've seen before. Description: the goal is to implement mana usage and recovery mechanics for the elemental abilities fire, ice, and lightning. Each ability consumes a portion of the player's mana, and the mana should gradually regenerate over time when not in use. The system should also visually represent mana depletion and recovery using a UI bar. User story: as a player, I want to use fire, ice, and lightning abilities with limited mana and have my mana regenerate when I am not casting. This will add strategic depth to combat and encourage careful resources management to maximize my effectiveness in battle. This will be 3 days and 6 minutes to do. The question criteria: create mana system, implement a mana variable for the player, define how much each mana ability for ice and lightning consumes, create a regeneration rate for the mana recovery when abilities are not being used, ability integration, link the mana system to the fire, ice, lightning ability, ensure each ability depletes mana when used, prevents the player from casting an ability if they do not have enough mana. UI implementation creates a visual mana bar that decreases when using abilities and increasing during recovery. Display the mana bar clearly for the player in both first person and third person views. This one, the first one, implemented mana variable for the player. This took me 59 minutes. Next one, define how much each ability consumes, 1 hour every 5 minutes. Next one is create a regeneration rate, which took me 2 hours and 15 minutes. Next one is link the mana system to the fire, ice, and lightning, 1 hour every 7 minutes. This took me. Next one is ensure each ability depletes mana when used, 2 hours. This one prevents the player from casting an ability if you don't have enough mana, 2 hours and 25 minutes. This one is create a visual mana bar that decreases when an ability is in use and recovery, 1 hour and 45 minutes. And this one displays the mana bar being used in first and third person, 2 hours. So I go to the game. So first I'm going to show you is the fire one, ice, and lightning. And you see the mana to your right hand side bottom as it depletes and now it's regenerating. Fire again. And you see that how it depletes when I use each ability. And then it will start to regenerate. As you see right here at the bottom right where it says mana, it's now regenerating. And first person as well. See that? It's still regenerating in both views. So that shows that that's working properly. Create atmosphere on lighting level. This will be 4 hours to do. The volume cloud, 1 hour. The exponential fog, this was 1 hour. The skylights, this was 1 hour. And the sky atmosphere, another 1 hour. Which I will show you guys in action. As I move straight towards the outside area to show you guys. Outside, the red sun right there. Now if I want to get a better view of it, I need to keep going. And again. But if you look outside, you can definitely see the red moon right there in the sky atmosphere all around it. So it shows that that's working properly. Next one is the locate the movement speed variable and reduce it slightly to achieve a slower, more deliberate walking pace. This one took me 1 hour and 15 minutes.
And this one is for, yes, this one is definitely for the tank one. I remember mentioning this, which I already have done. This one is adjust the damage value for the zombie tank attack to make more powerful. Yes, increase depending on the otherwise balance requirements. This one I already showed you guys in action on how it's done. Zombie tank one does doing more damage. This one I showed you guys how to do. So that works out. And the last one is test to update the zombie captain tank speed and attack power, which will be 2 hours. And this one I already showed you guys on how I did that part as well. So that seems to be the last of my jury tests that I worked on for this month's build. So thank you for watching.